Okay, good morning, everyone. So now we are discussing about molecular orbital theory, right? MO theory, isn't it? Yes. So who introduced this molecular orbital theory? Naureen? F. Hunt and R.S. Mulliken. Okay. In 1932, right? Jewel, can you tell me any two features of this molecular orbital theory?
Electrons in molecular orbital is in different orbitals as
electrons present in atomic orbital. Okay.
Electrons in atomic orbitals
okay.
are placed in different
orbitals. Okay, fine. Then another point. Children, switch on your videos.
They follow Hund's rule.
Hund's rule.
Pauli's exclusion principle.
Pauli's exclusion principle. Hund's rule. Yeah, then Pauli's exclusion principle, Aufbau principle, right? Okay. Then which are the two types of orbitals? Niranjan, can you tell me which are the two types of molecular orbitals? Yes. With the addition of these two atomic orbitals will give one molecular orbital and their subtraction will give another one. What's its name? Anyone? Aditya, can you tell me? Yes, bonding molecular orbital and anti-bonding molecular orbital. Okay, so we have learned about this one, right? In the last slide. The formation of molecular orbitals, it may be described by the linear combination of atomic orbitals that can take place by addition and by subtraction of wave functions of individual atomic orbitals. So we can represent this one in the form of a equation psi MO. Okay, psi that stands for the wave function, MO that is molecular orbital. It will be formed by the combination of this atomic orbitals, either addition or subtraction. Okay, if it is addition, sigma will be formed. The sigma is known as bonding molecular orbital. Bonding molecular orbital. And the sigma star, it is due to the subtraction of this atomic orbital, that is known as anti-bonding molecular orbital. Anti-bonding molecular orbital. So among these two, which one has highest energy, children? Bonding molecular orbital or anti-bonding? Yes, tell me.
Bonding.
Bonding. Isn't it? We have learned about the features. Bonding is more stable, but the anti-bonding has more energy. Okay. So anti-bonding molecular orbital has more energy compared to that of bonding molecular orbital. And due to this lower energy, bonding molecular orbital is more stable. Clear? Yes. So have you completed this slide?
Yes.
Yes. Okay. So the molecular orbital sigma formed by the addition of atomic orbitals, it is called bonding molecular orbital. While the molecular orbital sigma star, okay, can be read like sigma star, sigma and sigma star. Sigma for bonding molecular orbital, sigma star for anti-bonding molecular orbital. So the molecular orbital sigma formed by the addition of atomic orbitals is called the bonding molecular orbital, when the molecular orbital sigma star formed by the subtraction of atomic orbital, it is called anti-bonding molecular orbital. Okay. So there are two types of molecular orbitals, bonding molecular orbital, anti-bonding molecular orbital. Bonding can be represented as sigma, then anti-bonding sigma star. Bonding molecular orbital, it is due to the addition of two atomic orbitals. Then anti-bonding, it is due to the subtraction of two molecular orbitals. Clear? Aditya, Nimida, Rose, Niranjan, Anne Mary, Jees, Elaine, Malavika, Tushar, Ellen, Ardra, Anjana, Samia, Nashwara, Alantina. All of you switch on your videos. Only Alina, Dulya and Alantina informed me. Shall I move to next one, children? Have you completed this one? Yes or no? Yes, right?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So now we can just draw this bonding
No,
molecular.
ma'am.
No? Okay, then finish it.
No.
Okay, okay.
Ma'am, finish.
Okay. So now we can just draw this formation of bonding molecular orbital, bonding molecular orbital and anti-bonding molecular orbital of hydrogen atom. Okay, we know that two hydrogen atoms combine together to form this molecular orbital, right? So first we can draw the energy. Okay, here this one is increasing energy. Increasing energy. And there are two atomic orbitals for two hydrogen atom, right? They have almost same energy. Okay. So this one can be written as Xi A and this one is Psi B. These are the two hydrogen atoms and their atomic orbitals. Hydrogen atom contains only one electron, right? That's why one electron is represented in one orbital. And these two combine together to form two types of orbitals, bonding molecular orbital and anti-bonding molecular orbital, right? So first we can draw the bonding molecular orbital. This bonding molecular orbital has lower energy, isn't it? So we can draw this one at the bottom. Okay, these two combine together to form bonding molecular orbital. Okay, bonding molecular orbital. That one is sigma equal to psi A plus psi B. Clear? So these two atomic orbitals combine together or they are added together to form bonding molecular orbital. It has very low energy compared to that of anti-bonding molecular orbital. That's why we are representing this one at the bottom of this graph. Then again, these two combine together to form anti-bonding molecular orbital. It has higher energy compared to that of bonding molecular orbital. Okay, but here there will be no electrons because only two electrons is present in hydrogen atom. These two combine together to form bonding molecular orbital. Okay, sigma star that is equal to psi A minus psi B. But this molecular orbital remains vacant because only two electrons present in this atom that is filled to bonding molecular orbital. So this is the representation of both type of molecular orbital using hydrogen atom. The hydrogen atom, its atomic number is 1. So one electron is present in the orbital. They almost have same energy. So these two orbitals combine together to form bonding molecular orbital. It has very lower energy compared to that of anti-bonding molecular orbital. Only two electrons present in these atoms. That's why no electron is there in anti-bonding molecular orbital. Clear? So this one is just the representation of formation of molecular orbital in hydrogen molecule. In hydrogen molecule, two atoms combine together, right? Two hydrogen atoms combine together. So this one is the formation of bonding and anti-bonding molecular orbital. Clear, children?
Ma'am, can
Yes.
you again?
Sure. In the case of hydrogen molecule, there are two hydrogen atoms, isn't it? So the atomic number of hydrogen atom is 1. So its configuration 1s1. Only one electron is present in each hydrogen atoms. These two atomic orbitals of two hydrogen atoms combine together to form bonding molecular orbital. It has very lower energy. That's why we are representing this one at the bottom of this figure. Okay. Then these two electrons are filled in this bonding molecular orbital. So now the electrons are finished. Okay. Now we will just represent the anti-bonding molecular orbital without electrons. Clear, Nimita?
Yes, ma'am. Okay.
Yes, that's it. Then there are certain conditions for this molecular orbitals formation to take place. Okay. So next we are going to learn the conditions for the combination of this atomic orbitals. So the first condition, the combining atomic orbitals must have the same or nearly the same energy. The first condition is that the combining atomic orbitals must have the same or nearly the same energy. So when you represent this in the form of figure, you have to correctly draw the two atomic orbitals in the same level to show that same energy is there. Okay. So the first point is that the combining atomic orbitals must have the same or nearly same energy. Then second point, the combining atomic orbitals must have the same symmetry about the molecular axis. They should have the same symmetry. That's the second condition. Then the third one, the combining atomic orbitals must overlap to the maximum extent. Okay, the combining atomic orbitals must overlap to the maximum extent. So these are the three conditions for the combination of atomic orbitals. In the first one, you can just write one example. Only oneness can combine with another oneness. Not oneness is combined with the 2s of another atomic orbital. Okay, so oneness is always combined with oneness. Then second one about the symmetry. In p orbital, you know that px, py and pz orbital, right? So px always combines with px itself. Okay, that means the same symmetry. That's in the x-axis, right? That's belong to x-axis. Then there are other types of p orbitals belong to y-axis, z-axis, etc. So px always combines with px. That's the second condition. Then the third one, the combining atomic orbitals must overlap to maximum extent. If the extent of overlap is greater will be the electron density between the nuclei of molecular orbital and the bonding will be more stronger. That's why. So these three are the conditions for the combination of atomic orbitals. Okay. Anashwara, can you read the three conditions for the combination of atomic orbitals?
The combining atomic orbitals must have the same or nearly the same energy. The combining atomic orbitals must have the same symmetry about the molecular axis. The combining atomic orbitals must overlap the maximum extent.
Overlap to the maximum extent. Shall I move to next one, children?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. So then types of molecular orbitals. We have learned about two types, that is bonding and anti-bonding, right? Again, this molecular orbitals of diatomic molecules, it can be designated as sigma and pi. In the case of hydrogen, only one electron is present. That's why it's just completed in sigma and sigma star. But in the case of the molecules with higher atomic numbers, they have sigma and pi bond. Okay. So the sigma can be sigma and sigma star. Similarly, pi is pi and pi star. Okay, sigma and sigma star, then pi and pi star. So the molecular orbitals of diatomic molecules are designated as sigma, pi, etc. Then the next one is delta. So we will do more examples with sigma and pi. Okay, delta, that belongs to the higher, very higher atomic numbers. Clear, children? So in this nomenclature, the sigma molecular orbitals, they are symmetrical around the bond axis, while the pi molecular orbitals are not symmetrical. The reason is that in pi molecular orbital, the p orbital will be involved, and there are three types of p orbitals, right? Px, py, pz. But in the case of sigma, only s orbital will be involved. In s orbital, there is no such axis. It's spherical in shape, isn't it? That's why the sigma molecular orbitals are symmetrical around the bond axis, while pi molecular orbitals are not symmetrical. In pi molecular orbitals, this p orbital will be involved, and there are three orbitals for p orbital, right? Px, py, pz. That's why that is not symmetrical in nature. It has different energies. So the molecular orbitals of diatomic molecules are designated as sigma and pi. In sigma, there are two types, sigma and sigma star, that is bonding and anti-bonding. Again, pi has pi and pi star. Pi is bonding and pi star is anti-bonding. Okay. Meherin, can you read the points about the types of molecular orbitals?
Types of molecular orbitals. Molecular orbitals of diatomic molecules are designated as sigma or pi. In this nomenclature, the sigma molecular orbitals are symmetrical around the bond axis, while pi molecular orbitals are not symmetrical.
Okay, not symmetrical. So shall I move to next one, children? Yes. Before that, one more thing. We have learned about the order of increasing order of energy of atomic orbitals, right? 1s, 2s, 2p, then 3s, 3p, 4s, 3d, like that. Similarly, here also it will follows Aufbau principle. Okay, so there will be a proper order in this molecular orbitals according to their increasing order of energy. Clear? Atomic orbitals, they are arranged in the increasing order of their energies. Similarly, this molecular orbitals are also arranged in the increasing order of their energies. And this increasing order of energy includes both bonding molecular orbital and anti-bonding molecular orbital. Okay. And there are two types of increasing order of energies for this molecular orbital. Oxygen and fluorine, it will follow a different order compared to that of other molecules. Clear? In the case of atomic orbital, we will deal with atoms. Here we are dealing with molecules. Okay, molecules means two or more elements combined together. Clear, children? So next we are going to learn the increasing order of energy in oxygen and fluorine. I told you about the different types of bonding molecular orbitals and anti-bonding, right? So this one is the increasing order of energy in oxygen and fluorine, only for oxygen and fluorine. All other molecules will follow a different order. Okay, so we will start with sigma 1s. Okay, sigma 1s, that is the bonding molecular orbital. After that, sigma star 1s. Sigma star 1s is anti-bonding. When you see star there, that belongs to anti-bonding. Okay, anti-bonding. Both pi star and sigma star, both is anti-bonding. Then sigma and pi, they are bonding. Okay, so this is the increasing order of energy. Sigma 1s, it is greater than, less than sigma star 1s, then it is less than sigma 2s, it is less than sigma star 2s, it is less than sigma 2pz, it is less than, here you can see this pi 2px equal to pi 2py. That means this px and py, they have the same level of energy. That's why they are represented by equal sign. Okay, here you can see one equal sign. That means both the px and py, they are equal in energy. Clear? So after occupying of one electron in each orbital, we will move for the second one. Clear? While doing certain examples, it will be more clear. Okay. So here you have to learn the order. Then pi 2px equal to pi 2py, it is less than pi star 2px equal to pi star 2py. Then it is less than sigma star 2pz. This is the order of increasing order of energies of various molecular orbitals for oxygen and fluorine. Only for oxygen and fluorine. Okay. Sigma 1s, sigma star 1s, sigma 2s, sigma star 2s, then sigma 2pz, then pi 2px, pi 2py, then pi star 2px, pi star 2py, then sigma star 2pz. This is the increasing order of energies of various molecular orbitals for oxygen and fluorine. Clear, children? Have you completed this one? Oh, okay. Then it has been observed experimentally that for molecules such as B2, C2, N2, etc., the increasing order of energies of various molecular orbitals is like this. Sigma 1s, sigma star 1s, sigma 2s, sigma star 2s. Till this one, sigma star 2s, both have the same order of energies. Okay, after that, here it is pi 2px equal to pi 2py. In the previous one, it is sigma 2pz, right? Here it is pi 2px equal to pi 2py. After that, sigma 2pz. Then pi star 2px equal to pi star 2py, then sigma star 2pz. So only difference in this portion. Okay. Here also, this one. Only difference in sigma 2pz and pi 2px, pi 2py. All other are same. Okay. So you have to learn this increasing order of energies of both types of molecules. Clear, children? Sigma 1s, sigma star 1s, sigma 2s, sigma star 2s, then pi 2px, pi 2py, sigma 2pz, pi star 2px, pi star 2py, then sigma star 2pz. And in each orbital, each molecular orbital, the maximum capacity of electron is 2. Okay. In each orbital, the maximum capacity of electron, that is 2. And you have to remember, when you are seeing this equal sign, after the filling of one electron in each orbital, then the second electron is filled in each orbital. That means after the filling of one electron in pi 2px and pi 2py, then the next electron will be added here. 1 plus 1 plus 1. That will be more clear when we are practicing certain examples. So is this clear about two types of order, children? Along with this B2, C2, N2, then Li2, Be2, the lithium molecule, beryllium molecule also follows the same order. Okay. Li2, Be2, then B2, C2, N2, etc. So this is the order of increasing order of energies of molecular orbitals in two types of molecule. In oxygen and fluorine, it will follow a different order. Then all other molecules have a common order like this. This is clear? Yes or no? Any doubt, children? Do you have any doubt? Okay. Then we are moving to the next slide. How this electronic configuration, it will affect the molecular behavior. First one is stability of molecules. Okay. Yes.
Ma'am, the last slide.
Yes.
Ma'am, I didn't finish the last slide.
Okay. Okay. Finished?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Then about the stability of molecules. Okay, how their electronic configuration or the number of electrons filled in each molecular orbital, it will be depend upon the stability of molecule. We have already learned about the bond order, right? Bond order. Do you remember? Among the bond parameter, we have learned about bond order, isn't it? Okay, first we can go with the stability of molecules. If Nb is the number of electrons occupying the bonding orbital and Na the number of occupying the anti-bonding orbitals, okay, then the molecule is stable if Nb is greater than Na. So here, the stability of molecules, it can be determined using the number of electrons present in bonding molecular orbital and anti-bonding molecular orbital. So Nb, capital N, then subscript B, that represents the number of electrons occupying the bonding molecular orbitals. Then capital Na, that represents the electrons in anti-bonding orbitals. Okay, then the molecule is stable if Nb is greater than Na. That means more amount of electrons present in bonding molecular orbital compared to that of anti-bonding molecular orbital. And the molecule is unstable if Nb is less than Na. The molecule is unstable if Nb is less than Na. We can just do one example with hydrogen. Hydrogen molecule. Hydrogen molecule. So what will be the total number of electrons in hydrogen molecule? 2 hydrogen atoms combined together, right? Each hydrogen contains 1 electron. So what will be the total number of electrons? 2, right? Okay. Total number of electrons is 2. Electrons is 2, right? So we can write the configuration. We will start with sigma 1s2, right? Only 2 electrons that is occupied in sigma 1s. And in sigma star 1s, it is 0, right? Sigma 1s, it is 2. Sigma star 1s, it is 0. Then here the molecule is stable if Nb is greater than Na. Nb means the number of electrons present in bonding molecular orbital, and Na, that is the number of electrons present in anti-bonding molecular orbital. So what about this one? Nb is greater than Na or Nb is less than Na. In this case, hydrogen molecule. Electrons is only present in bonding molecular orbital, right? So here Nb, it is greater than Na. Nb is greater than Na. In anti-bonding molecular orbital, there are no electrons, and in bonding molecular orbital, 2 electrons. That means this hydrogen molecule is stable because Nb is greater than Na. Clear, children? If Nb is greater than Na, the molecule is stable. That's it. Clear?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. Have we completed this one, children? Adulya?
Yes, ma'am.
Yes. The next one about the bond order. Okay, bond order. We have learned about the bond order in terms of different types of bond, right? If it is single bond, the bond order is 1. If it is double bond, the bond order is 2. If it is triple bond, the bond order is 3. Okay, here it is different in the concept. The bond order, it is defined as 1/2 the difference between the number of electrons present in the bonding and the anti-bonding orbitals. Okay, here is one equation to find out the bond order. Clear? Bond order is defined as 1/2 the difference between the number of electrons present in the bonding and anti-bonding orbitals. So the equation is half into Nb minus Na. Nb stands for the number of electrons present in bonding molecular orbital and Na represents the number of electrons present in anti-bonding molecular orbital. So here also we can do it with the hydrogen molecule. Okay, the bond order of hydrogen molecule, it will be half into, what is the number of electrons present in bonding molecular orbital? Bonding molecular orbital. How many electrons are there in bonding molecular orbital of hydrogen? 2, right? Only 2 electrons that is present in the bonding molecular orbital. And in Na, there is no such electron. So 2 minus 0. So 2 into 2, that is 1. So here the bond order is 1. That's why there will be a single bond exists between hydrogen atoms in hydrogen molecule. Clear? In this way, we can find out the bond order of different molecules. And we can determine which type of bond exists between 2 atoms in a molecule. If the value is 2, that means double bond. If the value is 3, that means triple bond. If the value is 0, that means that molecule is unstable. Okay, that molecule is unstable. It cannot exist. So bond order, it is defined as 1/2 the difference between the number of electrons present in the bonding and the anti-bonding orbitals. So the equation is bond order equal to half into Nb minus Na. So half into 2 minus 0, that is equal to 1. So the nature of bond, how this bond order can be connected with the nature of bond. Integral bond order values of 1, 2 or 3 corresponds to single, double or triple bonds respectively, studied in the classical concept. We have already learned that bond order. If the value of bond order is 1, that is single bond, then 2, double bond, 3, triple bond. So same thing is explained in a different concept. That's it. Have we completed?
Yes.
All of you, right?
Yes. ma'am.
Okay. The next one about the bond length. Okay, bond length. The bond order between 2 atoms in a molecule may be taken as an approximate measure of the bond length. So here you have to learn this point. The bond length decreases as bond order increases. So if it is double bond or triple bond, that means their bond length will be decreases. Here the strength will be increases, but the bond length it will decreases with the increase of bond order. The bond order between 2 atoms in a molecule may be taken as an approximate measure of the bond length. the bond length decreases as bond order increases. So if it is double bond and triple bond, their bond strength increases, but their bond or bond length, it will be decreases. So the single bond has more bond length compared to that of double bond and triple bond. Then the next one about the magnetic nature. Okay, magnetic nature. If all the molecular orbitals in a molecule are doubly occupied, then the substance is diamagnetic, that is repelled by the magnetic field. There are different orbitals, right? Sigma 1s, then sigma star 1s2, sigma 2s2, then sigma star 2s2. All these orbitals, they are filled by doubly occupied. They are occupied by 2 electrons in each orbital. It is considered as a diamagnetic in nature. Okay, that is diamagnetic in nature. If one or more molecular orbital are singly occupied, it is paramagnetic in nature. Okay, example is oxygen molecule. We will discuss the examples for each type of these features, so it will be more clear. Now you can just understood that in the case of the molecular orbitals in a molecule with doubly occupied or electrons, it is considered as diamagnetic. And if one or more molecular orbitals are singly occupied, it is paramagnetic. And the example for such paramagnetic, that is oxygen molecule. Okay. It is attracted by magnetic field. And mostly this paramagnetic nature, it will be shown in this pi 2p x pi 2py orbital. I told you about only after the filling of one electron in each orbital, then the other one will be filled, right? So this in this type of orbitals, pi 2px and pi 2py, there will be more chances for this paramagnetic nature. And in all other orbitals, the 2 electrons will be filled directly. Okay. So that's about the different electronic configuration and their molecular behavior. Then there are different examples for this type of bonding in homonuclear diatomic molecules. And one more topic remaining, that is hydrogen bonding. Okay, these two topics we can discuss in the next class. And I told you already about the class test for this chapter 4 in the next week. Okay, it will be on next Friday. So all of you prepare for this. Only chapter 4 is included. Clear? Have you completed the slide, children?
No, ma'am.
Yes, all of you?
No, ma'am.
Okay, then finish it fast. Finished? Okay. So in the next Friday, there will be one class test based on this chapter, chapter 4, chemical bonding and molecular structure. And it should be in MCQ format. It includes MCQ type question, assertion reasoning question, case study based questions. Are you familiar with assertion reasoning questions? Yes, right? Yes. Then case study question. Yes, case study questions also familiar, right? Case study questions. Let's say paragraph will be given for you. and there are multiple choice questions based on that. Okay, so your term 1 examination also will be in the same format. All are MCQ questions. It includes MCQ, assertion reasoning, then case study based questions. Okay, so to make it practice, we can conduct one test in the mode of this OMR sheet itself. Okay, so in the next Friday, there will be one exam for you. So all of you start studying this chapter from today onwards. Clear? Within the next class, I will finish this chapter and I will send you the notes by tomorrow. Okay. And if you have any doubt in any portion in this chapter, you can ask me. Clear, children? Clear? And the portions for your term 1 examination, that is 1, 2, 3, and 4. For this Friday, only 4th chapter. Okay? Yes. So let me take your attendance. Just wait. Okay, then thank you all. See you in the next class. Bye.
Thank you.
Thank you.